Hey YouTube, welcome to another video from SkinnyMedic. I absolutely believe that if you're around firearms that you should have a good trauma kit next to you and you should have a tourniquet on you, because you never know when situations occur, accidents happen, that you may need a good trauma kit to save your life or to save a buddy's life. But these items in this kit can be expensive. The tourniquets can be expensive, the hemostatic agents can be expensive, such as like the combat gauze, the Celox, even the chest seals can be expensive. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build one of these on a budget. Now, is it the best items to have? Maybe, maybe not. But they will absolutely help, and they will may save a life. So one of the things I would look at first is, instead of putting your IFAK in a nice molly pack like this, is I would just put it in a ziploc bag. Now I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video what I would actually use this for in an emergency. But this can also hold all of your gear that you need for your trauma kit. So one of the items I would replace the tourniquet with is an Aureli's dressing. This is a 4-inch pressure dressing. They make a 6 and a 12-inch dressing as well. But you can replace the tourniquet with this, because this is a pressure bandage. You can also make this a tourniquet. And this is going to be good for extremity control, like arms, legs that have the massive bleeding. If you pack the wound, you can also put this over top of the wound that you're packing to help hold pressure. So instead of having both, which I do have in my trauma kits, because you can also use this as a tourniquet as well, it has multiple functions. So, but if you were on a budget, then I would just go with this bandage here. I would just buy one of these and put this in your trauma kit. So you could use this as a pressure bandage, you could use it as a tourniquet, and you can bandage a whole number of things with this one bandage. So the next item you should have in your IFAK is a good hemostatic agent. Whether you have combat gauze, you have Celox, one of the two need to be in your trauma kit. Now I've done videos on both of these. I've actually opened up packs, showed you guys what they look like, how to use them, and I'll put annotations in the video here and show you those videos if you want to click over and watch those videos. But these have a hemostatic agent on them, they're bound to them, and it helps the clotting process. So it's a gauze that has a hemostatic that helps the clotting process, which is what we need when we're bleeding out. But these are very expensive, can be very expensive. So one of the things that I would replace those two with would be just regular gauze. This is cheap. This is, you can buy this by the box, reasonably priced. So once you have a wound that's in like a shoulder or hip, for instance, you can't just put a 5x9 over top of that. You've got to get some gauze to the source of the bleeding. So I would just poke this down to the source of the bleeding, pack it tight, and then put a bandage over top of it, hold direct pressure, put a bandage over top of it, and that's going to help control the bleeding. Is it as good as this stuff? Maybe, maybe not, but this would absolutely work. Now one of the disadvantages here, you can kind of see a little bit, is these little strings start pulling off like that right there. So once you do get the bleeding controlled, those tendency have to stick inside the wound, and that's going to be an issue when you start cleaning the wound and post-hemorrhage. Now another item that you need in your IFAK is chest seals. You get that penetrating trauma anywhere between the neck and the belly button, it needs to be sealed off. Air is going to take the path of least resistance. So if we can stop air from passing into the chest cavity, then it's going to hopefully go in and out of the lungs like it's supposed to. So, but there again, these are fairly expensive. So what can we do to replace this in our IFAK? There's two different options here. One is, this is an occlusive dressing. Occlusive dressing basically means air can't pass through it. So this has petroleum gauze in it. But what we'll do is we'll just open this up and then you just put it on the wound. Air can't pass through this. Use some duct tape and tape this close. And that's not going to allow air to pass through it. Now, of course, this is vented here, means that when air starts building up in the chest cavity, that it will allow air to escape, where this will not. So we can tape this on, if you want to tape it on 3 sides, 4 sides, depending on who you listen to or what book you read. But you can use this. These are like 75 cents. These are just dirt cheap. So you can do that for your chest seals. Another option is, if we were going to put our IFAK in just a simple plastic bag, why don't we put stuff in a freezer bag so air can't get to it? So you could actually use this, tear it open, cut it, tape this over your chest wound, and this will not allow air to pass through it. So you could cut your bag, use duct tape, and that's going to create a homemade chest seal for you. So thank you guys for watching. You never know when you'll be the first responder. Remember, you need the right gear and the right training.